Hello, I am Melissa Bondi from CTN, and this is Around Ann Arbor. The City of Ann Arbor's Natural Area Preservation, a division of the Parks and Recreation Department, conducts controlled ecological burns each spring and fall in the parks and natural areas. Today, joining me from the Natural Area Preservation, or NAP for short, is Michael Hahn, Stewardship Specialist, Becky Hand, Stewardship Specialist, and Tina Stevens, Volunteer and Communications Coordinator. Welcome everyone to the show. Thank you for taking the time out because I know the season's about to start. So we want to get the info out there to our viewers and community and residents to find out what are natural burns. I've seen the notices. Obviously internally and externally, you guys, do a great job with the communication, but sometimes, people just may not understand what a controlled burn is and to the extent of it. Can you explain a little? I think, Michael, we can start with you.
Sure. So the reason we conduct controlled burns is historically, for the last 10 to 15,000 years before glaciers or as glaciers had receded, fire has been a part of the landscape in Southeast Michigan since those glaciers have receded. And indigenous people had used fire on the land so much that our native plants have adapted to that fire and actually thrive from it. So fast forward to a little more current day, we use fire as a historic disturbance, but then also as it helps to control invasive species. Our native plants have adapted to it, so they thrive off of it. We often find that in parks that we have done controlled burns in, the following growing season, the plants tend to grow bigger, fuller, and flower a little more vibrantly.
Okay, so these take place, they're annual, and in the spring and the fall. Is it consistently, like May through fall, or when is it?
Sure. Our spring burn season starts at the end of February and goes through the end of May. And then our summer and autumn burn season starts mid-August and goes through the end of December. We do always burn on weekday afternoons, and sometimes those burns may go into the evening hours. And then within that time frame, we're waiting for the right weather conditions. We need a day that has less than 50% relative humidity. We're looking, about 40% is the sweet spot, but we do have a range around there that we can burn in. There's another weather condition that we're looking for, which is FFMC, the fine fuel moisture code. That's how much wetness is in the leaves and the dry grasses. And then we're also waiting for the right wind conditions so that we know where our smoke is going to go and we can put it in safe places.
So, okay, so is this something that I can see as a resident, and I'm walking my dog? Are they? I know you put out where they're going to be, but is this something that the public can view? Are they going to see the smoke? Are they going to see the fire? Is this something they can spectate?
Yeah, absolutely. We have usually a designated spot, or at least the trails. The parks themselves are not closed, so people are welcome to continue on through the parks as much as they want to. We may stop them and say, hey, you may want to stop and wait for the smoke to clear. Oftentimes, though, usually from the parking lot or from different areas within the nature area, somebody could stay. We would recommend that they stay out of the smoke as much as possible, but they can stand and watch us work as much as they want.
Do you find that people do every year? They do watch them?
Yeah, they do tend to. Yeah, you put enough smoke in the air and people tend to get drawn to it and come check it out, and they want to know what's going on.
That's what I was going to, because that's what I'm thinking. If I see smoke, it's like, what's going on? I need to know. I need to go watch. It's a natural thing, right? If people are able to. So I didn't know if people did. They're natural. Is that part of how? I mean, what do you say to folks when they, keep them safe? Like, how do you keep everyone safe?
We keep people safe by a couple different ways. We notify the public. So we put signs out. we put signs out on at the trailheads of the park.
Mhm.
We put the park list out onto our website. We also send out notifications depending on how big the burn is. We send out notifications that are up to about a half mile out. So within the greater area of the park, sending out a half mile worth of postcards could be quite a few mailings. So most people that could be affected by our smoke are gonna
Okay.
be notified.
Okay.
Also, we identify smoke sensitive receptors. So areas where we have schools, hospitals, assisted living, um, and then places like roads or anything like that, we're making sure that we're not putting smoke over busy roads or in the direction of hospitals and,
Okay.
other smoke sensitive receptors.
Okay. So yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of logistics that go into one of these controlled burns, and I think you guys do a fantastic job. I was to say what are some of the challenges? I think, something else I wanted to ask, I think Becky may be able to answer this. It was in regards to, we're keeping the community safe, members safe, residents safe. What about the animals?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have 2 field biologists who work for us, and they are out in the field looking at what's waking up this time of year as things are coming out of hibernation. They're kind of keeping an eye on what salamanders are out moving, or snakes, or birds are coming into nest. So they're keeping us updated as to what's moving around out there. So there are certain times when we won't do a burn if we know that we're in some salamander habitat and the salamanders are moving around. So we'll wait until they're done moving. Or if we have some areas where we have sensitive birds nesting on the ground, we'll avoid burning those areas until, we'll do it before they nest, or we'll wait till after they're done. And a lot of the critters that are in our parks can fly out or run out or burrow down when we're burning. We can also slow down our burns so that the fire's not moving so fast, and it gives the animals a time to escape ahead of the fire.
Okay. Something else that came to mind when you were speaking was what's the duration of a burn day? I guess maybe walk me through a burn day quickly. Is this 8 hours? Is it 6 hours? Is this something you guys start at 6 a.m., like 6 a.m., or do you go into the evenings? It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Our day as burn bosses starts sometimes as early as 5 or 6 in the morning, where we're starting to send out communications to each other, trying to figure out the right spot that we're going to burn. And then once we get to the office and we've identified the park, we go out to the park, we put flags around our burn unit so we can communicate with our team on where the burn's going to happen and how we're going to move people around. And as we're in the office getting prepared, our teams are getting all of our equipment ready. They're getting my team is moving out into the field and they're prepping the on-site stuff. So they're putting in burn breaks and blowing around maybe any big snags or hazards that may create more smoke than we'd want. Tina's team is busy making phone calls on our burn prescription or our burn plan. And that would be everybody from Parks and Rec community service to, customer service to any neighbors that want to be notified, to the fire department, and just making sure that everybody who needs to know that has asked to be notified is notified beforehand. It's really kind of it's a bustling morning in the office. There's a lot of excitement, and there's a lot of things that need to be get done. So that's happening, pre-burn or just as we're getting ready for the morning. And then the day of, usually our controlled burns, we usually start them, I would say roughly between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And usually they could go up to, typically we're done by 5, 6 o'clock. There's still a lot of cleanup afterwards, but sometimes they could go up to, sometimes we're putting out smoking logs until 10 or 11 o'clock at night, but that's not very often.
Okay. So let me ask you, so I'm controlled burn days. It sounds like it's exciting. It's like going to be an exciting day. In regard to, it just seems like there would be excitement as opposed to just a regular day. That's funny.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we look forward to.
So in a season, so the spring, how many do you do? How many would you have if typically if weather cooperates?
Tina, you want to take that one?
Yeah, gosh, it ebbs and flows a lot. I would say an average spring might be about 20 burns, but some springs are just really wet and we might only get a dozen. Some springs we might have just the right weather conditions and can get closer to 30. It's really hard to predict. And then our autumn season is often wetter. There are some autumns where we don't have any burns. I'd say on average in the autumn we're closer to 8 or 10.
Okay. So how can the public get involved? Tina, tell us a little bit about the public getting involved as opposed to just watching.
Sure. So if folks are interested in just watching, we do have a demonstration burn every spring. This year, if the weather cooperates, it'll be on Monday, March 27th at 4 p.m. at Arbor Park at one of the rain gardens there. If Monday is too wet, then we'll try Tuesday, and Wednesday we'll just move on down that week. It's a great opportunity to come out and learn a little bit more about how we put fire on the ground and to see a burn in action. If you actually want to join us to be on our burn crew to help us put fire down and help us put logs out at the end of the day, we do have a volunteer burn crew. We have a training every spring. This year's training has already passed, but if you're interested in the 2024 training, you can email us at nap@a2gov.org, and we'll put you on the list to notify when we have next year's training scheduled. If by chance you're a teacher or have another group that you want to come out bring out for a field trip to see a fire in action, send us an email to that same email address and we'll work with you to find the right burn to bring your group to for a field trip.
Do you have a lot of groups do that, or have you had in the past, or is that something new?
It's rare. We have a couple of schools that we've worked with in the past. We've also recently started working with folks that are training search and rescue dogs that need a burned area to practice in. So we are open to being creative in ways to get the public involved in the work that we do.
That's great. Okay. Well, is there anything else we can let folks know about in regards to the controlled burns that take place? I think it's really neat, and I definitely sparked my interest as far as coming to watch you guys in action. It sounds like very interesting.
Yeah, if folks want to find out more about our burns, we have a section of our website that's all about our controlled burns, and it has more information than what we've mentioned today. We also do a public meeting every year before we do our training for volunteers that goes into a lot more depth about why we burn and all the historical information. So that's already happened, but we do have a recording of it, so folks can contact us if they'd like to watch the recording. And just keep an eye out on our social media. When it's a burn day, we'll put posts up on Facebook and we'll send out press releases. And yeah, if folks want to come out, just keep an eye out for those.
Let me ask you, what would be the biggest challenge as far as a burn day? What do you find is challenging?
I would say the biggest challenge is making sure we have our smoke cooperating with the way we want it to go. Smoke is probably one of the biggest things that can impact the people around us. And so we want to make sure that we're putting our smoke and moving it in a way that impacts as few people as possible for as short of as time as we can. So that's definitely one of the bigger challenges, but some days it goes right where we model it to go to and want it to go to. And then sometimes it, kind of gives us a little bit of a hard time.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, all three of you, for coming on and talking about this. Again, like I said, it's very interesting, and I think folks should take advantage of possibly coming out to watch or volunteering. I think there's a great opportunity for people to do it. And I wish you guys all the luck on your upcoming seasons here.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. To find out more on controlled burns, visit a2gov.org/NAP or visit them on Facebook at A2NAP. And you can check out more on CTN, visit a2gov.org/CTN for our programs and our services. And you can check out our YouTube channel and follow us on social media at CTN Ann Arbor. Thanks for watching.